Welcome to another episode of Pods and Pies. Today's episode is brought to you by
Yes, the Summit Inn Pizza. Have you had this? You've had this before, right?
Quite good.
Dude, it is
I
good.
think it's the best pizza in the area.
Dude,
It's pretty
I said
tasty.
the same thing. There's how many little make your own pizza places are right by us? Like
A
7?
lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. And not that you make your own, but the pizza little joints that are around us, I do think this is the best one. And if you ever had their cinnamon or raspberry doodles, they make them from scratch every day, and they're like tiny little cinnamon roll shape, but they have raspberry filling or cinnamon filling.
they're amazing.
It's actually pretty legit. But
So we've done quite a few of these now, so we're experiencing a lot of pizza.
we just want, and then
we
we
just want
want
somebody to sponsor.
We
it.
want one pizza place, just one pizza a week. That's all we want, right? I mean, it's not a lot, but maybe one of these, we get hot and sweaties from Little Caesars,
Little
and
Caesars,
we could have
Domino's.
Domino's and different other things, but we did a random pizza one day for
Rock Creek.
Yeah, Rock Creek, which actually is pretty good.
That wasn't bad, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so today we have co-founder and COO of Divvy, Alex Bean. Thanks for being on with us, man.
Yeah, happy to be here.
So let's get this started. Give me your top 3 places you've golfed
Ever?
ever.
Okay, I got this.
Okay.
The past couple of years have actually spiked this up. So number one is Pebble Beach. Went there a year and a half ago.
Okay.
It was everything everyone ever says. I would do it in a second again. So Pebble, second, we played a course called.
Now with Pebble Beach, real quick, was that just you make it a tea time?
So
And you guys went there
I
and-
went
and-
with a
and-
local executive networking group.
Oh, okay,
called,
yeah.
Corporate Alliance at the time, but now it's called Trust. So went there with them, and we did Spyglass, Pebble, and then there's the other one that's really close, Spanish Bay. But yeah, Pebble was by far my favorite there. Same group, we did Sand Valley out in Wisconsin, out in the middle of nowhere, kind of the boonies, but super fun. It's called Sand Valley, so there's a ton of sand. It's really
Right.
pretty. And then actually the third one was my home course. Grew up in Seattle, called Sahali. It's the number one
Sahali?
private club. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think the number one private club in Washington, but they played the U.S. Open there back in early 2000s or late 90s. But super hard. But I grew up there playing with my dad, and I hate it but love it. Yeah.
That's awesome. And no hesitation. You just knew right there. I love it.
Well, I knew
I would have to
Pebble,
think about
and
it.
I knew Sahali.
great.
Sand I had to think about. But yeah, I mean
Yeah.
Pebble, it's just not a question.
Yeah.
What's the course? What's like a bucket list? The next course, if you had a bucket list, where would you play next if you could?
Bandon Dunes in Oregon.
Bandon Dunes.
100%.
Yeah, I got the 16th. I'm heading up to Bandon Dunes.
Have you been?
I've never been, and everybody I talk to that's been says it is by far their most favorite golf.
So when
Trip.
I went to Sand Valley, I kind of got the feeling of they had 2 courses and a little par 3 course that you just walk around and carry 4 clubs, and that was so fun, of being all in on golf. And Bandon Dunes is that on crack. It's got 7 courses now, and I'm it has to be just unbelievable. Just all. Of
I
it.
cannot
Right?
wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
They opened up that new one called Sheep Ranch.
Yep, it opened June 1st.
Yeah, some friends of mine went there a couple weeks ago, and they said it was.
Yeah, so we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're going. I think we're playing 6 18s and then the par 3. They have a par 3 course and some other stuff. So
6 18s.
well, yeah, because I think we're doing one on Thursday. Well, yeah, one on Thursday, 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, 1 Sunday, and then trying to throw in that little par 3 course. But
It's a lot of golf.
yeah, there's a lot of golf, dude. And there's no carts. I mean, it's all walking, which is interesting. You can pay a caddy. You don't have to pay a caddy, but it'll be an experience. I think I'm gonna need to walk a few courses here locally before we head up.
So I follow them on Instagram now because I'm going to go to Bandon Dunes. It's
Yeah.
on my next list. I just don't know when I'm going. And they did this thing on June 21st, longest day of the year, called the Solstice event.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yep.
And they did 72 holes in one day. I'm that's on the bucket list now. I'm all right, we got to do this. 72 holes in a day. Let's go.
Yeah,
Do you think your game would get better or worse?
So I played 54. And I actually found when I spend too much time thinking about it, it was getting better because we just get up and swing and go. And you just kind of get more relaxed. But, again, I'm still a hack golfer. So
yeah, that's right.
So grew up in Seattle. When did you move to Utah?
5 years ago.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because of Divi?
So, no, but yes. I was working for a company that was really remote. Actually, it's kind of funny now that we are in this quarantine world where people can work wherever they want. My last company, we had no office. There was like not a single office space. We're 400 employees from remote. And
Wow.
so I was living in Seattle, and I was like, well, let's just, I want to get into tech. I was building custom apps. That was what our last company was doing, custom tech for companies. And I was like, my wife and I were like, let's try something different. Let's move to Utah. And I wanted to get into, either starting or joining a small tech company. Moved here in December 2015. And within like 4 months, my now partner and I connected on Divi.
Just Blake.
Yeah, Blake.
Right.
So
Okay.
it wasn't, I didn't move back for Divi. I moved back to get into tech though. And then like within a couple months, Divi came.
So how did you know Blake?
We grew up together. We've
Okay.
known each
So
other.
he's
since,
also
like,
from
third
Seattle.
grade. Yeah. We parents lived like a couple miles from each other.
Okay. So where did you go to school then? College.
BYU.
You went to BYU.
Yeah, and he went to Utah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So live in Seattle, you come out to Utah for school.
Yep.
Go back
Back to Seattle for about 9 years, and then
and
back to
then
Utah.
back to Utah.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you guys, I've been wondering this. When you guys are sitting down, you and Blake are sitting down, and you're have this idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know? Like, do you guys just how do you know who's going to do what? So you're COO.
So my roles changed a lot.
Has it? Okay.
And actually, I can easily talk about this. So first off, it was Blake's idea at the beginning.
Okay.
He had the idea of Divi. Now it kind of evolved together. Like we built the actual product together and really started to evolve where we wanted to go with it. But it was his original. Like, well, what about doing this? So when he came, first off, it was his idea. Second off, like I think in a true partnership, you kind of have to outline, who's going to play what roles early on. Otherwise, it becomes a tug of war. Like if who's going to do what? And the first question is, well, who's going to be CEO? And to be honest, it was never a discussion. It was always Blake. Well deserved that it should be Blake, but Blake also had put in some original money. It was his original idea. And I think that's actually been a lot of our success is there's never been that tug of war. Like I've been the running back, he's been the quarterback. I knew he was calling the shots from day one. And that allows us to operate in a world in which like I'm playing my roles well and he's playing his role well. But yeah, there was never really a discussion. Now we definitely had certain skill sets. I came from more of a sales and marketing background. He has an eye for product. And so we kind of did divide there, but it was never a discussion on like really what he was going to do and
Right.
where I was going to fit. Yeah.
Gotcha. So as COO now, you're on kind of more the sales side, right? Like you're kind of running that.
Well, no. So right now, my title is actually Chief Business Officer, so CBO. And again, like it evolves. But I do a lot of the major partnerships. So working with Visa, MasterCard, our larger bank partners, any big strategic distribution that we're working with. That's stuff that I'm typically handling. Going to events, speaking at events. That's where I spend most of my time. Our head of revenue runs sales. When we first started, I definitely ran sales and marketing. But as
Right.
you scale, your job as a founder is to replace yourself. It's kind of this weird thing, and I've described it before, but I'll explain it again. It's like if you invented a sport. Let's imagine you invented basketball, and you're like, guys, I got this thing called basketball. It's amazing. You're gonna love it. So you now like I'm the best. I invented it. I'm the best dribbler. I'm the best passer. I'm the best shooter. I know the most about it. But when you do it right, you're going to start inviting more people to play. And you're like, okay, well, that guy's a better dribbler. I'll let him take the ball up. I'll move down low. Oh, that guy's a better rebounder. And your job is to start replacing yourself. And before you know it, you're like, well, hold on. Well, I found the right players. I'm going to go coach because I know the most about this game. And then eventually you want to replace yourself as a coach. And then like as a founder, specifically the non-CEO founder, it's a very interesting space because you don't stay as CEO, which Blake will. As a founder, your job is to constantly replace yourself. And I've done that over the past couple of years. And it's not always like super easy, but at the same time, it's like we're doing it right. It means we're growing. It means
Right.
we're like bringing on great talent that is better at certain things, and that's really been my life over the past couple of years.
So where do you see you going in the next 5 years?
Um,
you personally.
Me personally, yeah. So I'm going to spend a lot more time, we'll call it preaching the gospel of Divi, which is like I will be speaking at more events nationwide. Especially once we get out of this quarantine world and we can go back to events, I'll
Right.
be doing a lot more of that. I'd stay with strategic partners. Like again, it's so crucial to what we're doing. So like we negotiating deals with Visa or MasterCard or these big banks, they take a ton of time. You have to have nuance across all of the business aspects, product, engineering, sales. So I'll be probably staying in that role.
Okay.
I love it, and it also has a big impact on the business. So.
What's it like working with like your Visas and Mastercards? Because those are big companies, right? I mean, is it, when you very first started, was it, what was that process like, getting in touch with them and starting this whole process?
Yeah. So when you first start, something like Divvy, right? You're just kind of, they don't care who you are. I mean, like, they're big companies. So we would have to go to a bank, and the bank we went with at the time was originally U.S. Bank, then it was WEX, and they're the ones that have the relationship with the Visa or MasterCard. So we got to win over the bank. You connect with them, but as you get bigger and your portfolio becomes bigger, like your book of business, you have a little bit more leverage to say, well, hold on, we don't necessarily need you to have that relationship. Let us have that relationship. So that's happened a little bit more over the last couple of years. Just again, as you get bigger, more people talk about us. Visa and MasterCard start paying attention, and other banks, right? So you start to then kind of bring all your relationships back and say, well, let us kind of establish where we want to be from the tech side, from the risk and bank side to the network, and that's what we've been doing.
Okay. I'm going to backtrack here.
Sure.
Let's go back to, you moved to Utah. You guys are, you and Blake are sitting down, kind of figuring this out. Starting a business, being an entrepreneur, like what affected that? Like, as you come over, you have this job, you quit, and you're going to start this, like, what would you tell, I guess, future entrepreneurs, like what that process was like? Because as you quit your job, you're like, I'm going to start something new. Like, how long, like, you know what I mean? Like, if it doesn't work, what are you going to do? Like, how long can you not go without paying yourself, like, to get this thing off the ground and get it going? Like,
a few things. One is like, so my wife's the best. I know everyone thinks their wife's the best, but for me and for what I wanted to achieve in life, my wife's been amazing. And what
that's
I mean
good.
by that
I got a good would you rather question for you for that one.
Okay, we'll get there. All right. Well, I'm a little nervous, but we'll get there. She's been super open from the beginning of our marriage. Like, I remember leaving college, I quit a job, and she was like, why? And I was like, well, because it's not the career I want. I'm going to quit this job to go look for something. And she's like, she didn't get it, but she trusted me. And again, it was super impactful. I had to quit. I went and spent full time looking for my right career, and it worked. And in this instance, it was like, my last company was actually doing quite well. It wasn't failing. We went from like 50 people to 400 in 2 years. Our revenues went up to 50 million. Like, we were actually doing quite well. So when I called my boss to say, hey, I'm going to start something new, he, hope he's listening and kind of not listening out there. He called me an idiot. He actually he literally said, think about your children. Like, you're an idiot. And that made me more determined than I was even before. Like, all right, I will not let this thing fail, because I was so mad at his comment. But it's knowing what you're getting into. And when people think like, okay, I'm going to start this idea, I need $100,000, and in a year I'm going to do. It's like, if they think that, then it's going to take twice as long and twice as much money, and probably even more than that. So I think for me and for my advice to future entrepreneurs, it's like, just understand, just have perspective. It's not going to happen in 3 or 6 months. It's going to take time. If you have a great idea, it will come, and like, keep going towards that vision. Don't let anyone stop you. But it doesn't mean it's going to come tomorrow. Right. And I think for me, that was the biggest thing. Is like, I took we paid ourselves, just to be clear at the beginning. We did take funding up front, but 80% pay cut, right? So like, took a pretty significant pay cut, maybe not 80%, but very close, to go do it. And it was just like, all right, let's have patience. Let's get it going. And it took us 2 years to even get to market. And now Divvy was doing a big thing. A lot of other companies can get to market a lot faster than that. But like, it took us 2 years to get to market. But there's just so much belief in those early days when we talked to potential customers and what we were doing, that I was like, I can't let this go. My wife was just willing to go along the ride with me.
To stick by the side there. That's awesome. So so you initially got funding. Did you guys have to get anything? Because how long ago did you get your big round? How long has it been?
Yeah, a little over a year.
Over a year, okay. So you got funding at the beginning.
Yeah, friends and family at the beginning.
Did you have anything in between that to your?
Yeah, we did a Series A and a Series B.
Okay.
Yeah, 10 and 35.
Okay.
And then the big round is about a year ago.
Okay. So were you heavily involved in that process?
Yeah.
What does that look like? Like, are you going out pitching to these VC firms? Are you interviewing them? Are they interviewing you? Like, yeah,
Both.
how does that work?
So it depends on where you're at. Meaning at the very, very beginning, right? Like, we're pitching them. But then it starts to turn, right? If you get a product that gains traction, So it kind of like there's different stages, right? There's like, oh, that product sounds interesting. Oh, that's an interesting market. And then those stages, you're kind of having to convince VCs and or any investor, like, this is what we're wanting to accomplish, and they're going to start, they're interviewing you. Now, if you get a product and get to market, and the customers are saying, we really like this thing, it's going to flip. And that's when VCs are going to start, you're going to start getting emails and calls saying, hey, we've heard this, we've heard that, we're super interested. And again, there's been different dances in our timeline of when we were talking to VCs, and other times where VCs are pounding down our door. Like we joke, Series B, we closed Series A, and that day, people were calling about Series B, and that's what led to Series B, not that much longer later. So, it's constantly an interview. You're always interviewing each other, and it's not akin to a marriage, but it's like it's a tight relationship. So you both want to make sure that you're comfortable with the other side.
So can you say who you guys went with?
Yeah. It's all public.
Okay.
So Series A was with Paleon, a local Utah group.
Okay.
And then Series B was Insight, a group out of New York, and then Series C was NEA out of San Francisco.
Okay. So I'm the dumbest guy in the room when it comes to this stuff. But why is there a reason you go with somebody different every round?
It's all preference. Sometimes.
Okay. So you could have gone with Pelion all three, or no?
No.
Well, some VC firms only do early rounds, and then some literally are like specialize in literally like mid rounds and late rounds.
Yeah.
So it's not that that's what happened with you guys. I just know that through experience.
No, that's accurate.
Yeah.
So even if you talk to Paleon, and I don't want to speak directly for them, but I think they'd say like they invest in Utah companies, and they can invest more than a lot of other Utah VCs. But they would almost always go to a bigger firm in San Francisco or New York for like the later checks, and that's part of their business model, right? So they don't have. NEA and Insight have $6 billion venture funds, or Paleon, I can't remember, but it's a couple $100 million. So it's just a different ballpark, right? So they just won't write a check that's bigger than 10% of their portfolio or whatever it might be, right? They're going to have their own numbers and run that. So, yeah.
What were there significant changes within Divvy from Series A to Series B to Series C?
Sorry.
No, hey, this
is
is
very
great.
good. It's called pies and pies.
Yeah, pods and
right,
pies. So this is good that you're eating because usually people wait until the end. So I love
I'm
it.
starving today. And the pizza really is actually quite good. So one thing actually, this has been probably one of the more surprising things, and maybe it's not, but like when you look at a lot of companies, you hear the classic, will they transition? Will they evolve? Will they change? And for us, like we didn't. Blake and I, from what we talked about 4 years ago, it's the same company. We haven't changed. We knew exactly what we wanted to build, and we haven't had to pivot at all. And that's been amazing. Now, there's nuances to what we've done more and gotten better at and improved on. But 4 years ago, when we started Divvy, we were like, we want budgeting, we want all-inclusive, we want to spend smarter, we want to do these things. And that's still the same thing. So Series A, Series B, or Series C was never like, well, hey, we did this, but now we want to do a little bit more that way. It's like, no, we actually knew what we wanted, and it's just been able us to press the gas pedal more, do more of what we were doing.
Yeah. So when you guys started, you and Blake, did you have anybody in mind when you guys say, "Hey, we're gonna make this happen. We're gonna go"? Do you have any other friends in mind that you're like, we gotta get John on board. We gotta get somebody else to.
No, because those early days we interviewed some key product officer, engineering, marketing, met some really smart people. Some of them aren't with us. Some of them are still with us. And it's like, as you build a business, you just learn and meet new people that are really, really talented. And for us, it was, we have some people that have been with us from essentially the beginning. And no, so we didn't have like predetermined people like, man, we got to get this person. It was like, as you meet people, like, man, we really want to keep them around.
Right.
And then you slowly start to, as you get bigger, you have the opportunity to recruit more and more people because, again, you're big.
Yeah. Do you remember who your very first employee was?
I do.
Are they still with you?
No.
No.
I will give them a shout out though. So our first engineer, actually, it's kind of a funny story. Our first engineer is the same first engineer as Podium. So we both had very first engineer. His name's Carl Youngblood. Carl Youngblood, Bray Brockbank, and Bob. Oh, he's gonna kill me. I forgot Bob's last name. Those are the first three hires that we had. It was those three.
Awesome.
But no, they're not with us. Actually, but with the next crew, we then hired like 5 people after that, and those 5 are still with us.
They're still with you.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how did you guys know what you wanted your culture to be? Like when you're starting, like, you know what I mean? Because it's just you two. It's like we can show up in our shorts or pajamas, whatever you're doing, you know. But how did you say, okay, we have this idea, we have this product that we want to get out to the masses? On the backside, as you're hiring employees, I mean, you have to think about what you want that culture of Divvy to be,
Yep.
right? So how did you guys build that out?
So culture is this fascinating thing. I think there's certain things that Blake and I wanted to do. So we both grew up in Seattle. His dad worked at Microsoft. You know, Microsoft and Amazon are the 2 big cultures that Seattle, like you kind of get a sense of. And so we'd always like talked about it, and we knew the type of culture that we came from. Like, you know, both of our dads worked a ton of hours and, you know, worked really hard. And Blake's dad gave me I remember meeting with him before I was even talking about Blake with Divvy. And one of his insights with Microsoft is they killed WordPerfect, which is down in Orem, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like, on Mondays at 6 o'clock, they were at home, and we knew we were going to beat them, right? Because we were working the hours, and we knew we could consolidate. And we knew we had the product. We knew we were going to put them out of business, and WordPerfect didn't see it coming. And so that we'd always like grown up with those stories, and it was kind of a put your head down and work hard mentality. But the funny thing about culture is you can say whatever you want, but culture evolves. Culture becomes, right? Like a culture isn't just what Blake says it is or what I want it to be. It's what like you as your leaders and as your employees, as you guys come together, it like builds on itself. So we've had a ton of insight from guys like Jake McGrath, who was our head of product for a long time. And, you know, I remember Aaron, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Aaron Hazer, one of our lead mobile engineers, and Greg, like all these guys that they start helping us build culture. And we'll throw something on the wall, or we'll sit down and say, hey, we want to do it this way. And sometimes it sticks to some degree, and sometimes it doesn't. But I think a culture evolves as we build it. So we knew what we wanted, and we did like the Amazon culture for a lot of elements, but it's evolved, and I think we've learned a lot from our employees, and I think we're building a pretty great culture. But again, I can't say that. Like, I can't just as a founder say, well, my team loves it. Like,
Right.
They have to emanate that back to us and say, we really like this culture. And sometimes the feedback is really, really great, and sometimes it's really blunt. Like, guys, this sucks. You got to do this better. And I think we try our best to do that.
Yeah. So what like little perks? 'Cause I've taken a tour of your current building.
Yep.
Right, you have like the game room and stuff. I mean, what kind of stuff, like little perks that your employees, I mean, what are some things that maybe they rave about?
That they like right now?
Yeah.
So we did this thing called Divvy Uses Divvy. And on one hand, we wanted all of our employees to just touch the Divvy experience, to be avid users of it. And again, it's a corporate card, so not everyone typically would get a corporate card. But we give everyone $100 every month. And we said, go spend it on whatever you want. And we got a lot of great product feedback, but at the same time, people loved it. And it was just this emotional, like I get a free $100, I can spend on whatever I want. That doesn't go into my savings account. I'm just going to go spend it, whether it was they bought something on Amazon or they just bought lunches. People love that. We have paused it during quarantine. We plan on reinstituting it, but with quarantine and a lot of that stuff going on. But that was a big one. We do have unlimited vacation. It's really kind of one of those be responsible, get your crap done, but take vacation.
So really, yeah, hey, if your work's done, great.
Yeah, and again, the kind of the work's never really done.
Right.
But we're getting, I think, a lot better listening to our managers and our employees and saying work together to take the time that you need. So, for example, we didn't have paternity, right? And when you start a company, you have nothing. So you don't have paternity leave. You don't have 401ks. You don't have any of this stuff. So it's like as you grow, you also build up on what you're able to offer. And for one of those is like paternity. So for a long time, like we hadn't even thought about it, to be honest. But now I think it's 6 weeks, somewhere around there. But we have a good paternity leave, at least for husbands or stay-at-home dads, or not stay-at-home because they're working for us, but husbands that have a baby. That they can stay at home with their kids and their spouse, and that's been, I think, great. We've been excited to offer that.
Yeah, that's one of those benefits that people really don't think about, but they love when they know that it's there and they can take it.
To be clear, we have the video game room, but no one's picking a job because they love the
Right,
video game
right,
room,
right.
Like they're picking a job because it's the right challenge for them and the right fit for their skill sets. But I do think there are small stuff like video game rooms that improves culture, that like as people get into the job, they start to realize, I like that we can do this. And back in the early day, we used to have like Mario tennis tournaments, and I remember playing Super Mario tennis tournaments with, our employees, and there is camaraderie that can be built. Now, like we're not all there all the time, but there's still tournaments happening in game rooms, board games that teams play, and we want to foster that because again, it creates at least familiarity and relationships, which is great.
What are you guys doing right now during COVID? Everybody's at home. Like, what are you guys doing to keep that camaraderie strong?
So lots of different stuff for different teams, right? As you can imagine, sales is a different mentality than engineering. So I know sales has got a channel that do 10 push-ups every hour, and people are always chiming in saying that they did the push-ups, and that's not exactly something everyone would want to do. But we're having lunches together, virtual lunches. They're doing the push-up stuff. They're doing different games online. I believe some people, like, we're not promoting it, but some people are teaming up to work in spaces together just to get some of that camaraderie together. And different managers are doing different stuff, but we're just trying to keep the screens on, see each other, connect. Let people connect, and that's okay. So here's my thing. Everyone's super, hey, remote work's been amazing. I think a lot of people love it. They're saying no one's going to go back to the office, or you kind of see some of that coming out. And the reason I don't know if I believe that, and again, if that's what happens, then we'll adjust and we'll do the same thing, and we'll talk to our employees about it. But my personal opinion is people want to connect. They actually don't want to sit at a computer all day just pounding away at a keyboard, doing whatever they're doing. They actually want those 5 to 10 minutes at the water cooler, so to speak, and they want to laugh. They want to see someone's eyes, and they want to smile. And like, we don't talk about that, but I think that's been one of the biggest, most damaging things about quarantine in general. Even wearing a face mask, which again, do it for health purposes, but once we can't, that's not going to stay forever because people, they want to connect, and part of that is seeing the smile and seeing the eyes and being in person. And I think to say that we don't need that as humans is not understanding what humans really need.
Oh, I would 100% agree with that. Like, seeing people, like, when you go out, right, you want to wear the face masks to be responsible, but like seeing somebody and you can kind of tell, like, when their eyes light up that maybe they're smiling at you, but you don't know.
You don't get the same thing.
Like, that sucks to not see somebody and like see those reactions on their face. But I 100% agree with you. I think those reactions and that camaraderie and that connection that you can have in the office, like, that's never going to go away.
Yeah. I think there's a small percentage of employees that don't like going to work, right? They wake up in the morning and they say like, oh, shit, like I got to go to work again. I think most of them actually are like, either whether they love their job or they like their job, they enjoy routine, like going to the office, whether it's for the food or whether it's for just a few of the people, their friends or whatever. But I really do think, they don't maybe preach that all the time or talk about it all the time, but they wake up and like, I actually don't mind going to work. I like going to work. Well, I don't think those people are saying, I like being at home, sitting in my bed on my computer. Like, I just don't think that they.
I do think that there's times, like, we're talking about this with our employees. We're calling it flex work, or maybe that's what the market's calling it, but our employees are basically saying we want the ability to come into the office, but we'd like more opportunity to work from home if needed.
Sure. Oh,
which I get. I'm like, oh, it's a Friday and you're busy, or maybe you are taking off camping and you don't want to wait in traffic, to get out with your family. And so you want to put in a full day's work and then head out, and you want to do it from home, like, and pack during whatever, right? Whatever your reason for working from home is. Let's enable that. I agree that there's times. I just think the flat out statement of like, people don't need to go back to work, or business travel's not coming back. And I'm like, I don't think so, because I think when I travel to New York to go meet with that team and have a dinner for 2.5 hours with that team that we're going to do a deal with,
that means a lot.
That means a ton, and a lot of it's just because you actually get to talk to them, and you're sitting there, and kind of the what's the Navy SEAL concept of like being in the foxhole? I forgot like the terminology, the brotherhood of it, right? Is like you can feel that they're there with you, and that there's this like, I think there's just being in the presence of other people and connecting with them and seeing them and whatnot. It just goes farther than people are giving it credit right now, and we'll see it evolve.
Yeah, agree.
So are you guys implementing like that flex time right now?
Yeah,
like people want to go in, they can.
Well, right now, no, they're still working from home.
Okay.
Yeah, but once we quote open up and the governor's office allows us to make our decisions collectively, we'll probably allow people to come in and again manage against the protocols. But we're calling it flex work and saying, hey, if you feel safe and will want to work from home, work from home. If you want to come in because it's you need it, then come in.
Yeah. Can we talk about Corona?
Yeah.
COVID?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have had a hit from it. I think, you know, a lot of people have had a hit from it. But
Yeah.
let's just talk where you guys were when it hit and where you're at now and kind of what's happened in between there. Because
So
we were kind of discussing this a little bit, but I found it very interesting. So let's.
do you remember where you were when 9/11 hit?
Oh, yeah.
The place you were.
Yep.
So that's how COVID has been that impactful to me, as a personally in society as well as work, where I can just vivid experiences of where I was sitting and like what I was drinking when whatever came out, right? Like when the NBA canceled, because that was kind of like the first time we all felt like, oh crap, this is different.
Yeah.
Is when the NBA canceled, because then everyone the next day canceled.
Yep.
And whose fault was it?
Rudy
Yeah.
was, you know,
Whose fault was that, dude?
touching everything.
It's the friggin' Jazz fault.
The Jazz-
It would have happened
It would have
eventually.
happened eventually.
Yeah, yeah.
And, well, you know,
Thanks
some
to
people
Rudy.
say that Rudy saved some lives because we committed to it, but-
Rudy saved lives.
So it has, that's what they say. So for us, it's been. I would put it this way. It's kind of one of those things I wish never happened, and man, it's been like a learning experience over the last couple of months just to run a business. Like for example, we built our business to be prepared for a 2008 recession, right? The worst recession we've seen since the Great Depression type thing. And even that just didn't even compare to what we saw with the pandemic. And no one's got a pandemic failsafe. They might going forward, but they didn't, prior to a couple months ago. So for us, it obviously was impactful. It has been a long couple months trying to do everything we can to take care of our customers, take care of our employees, figure out what this means. And it causes a lot more stress because you don't know when it's going to end, right? And I think we don't know when something's end. Even 9/11, and I don't want to get in trouble here comparing this to 9/11, but 9/11 happened. And then it was like, okay, holy cow, that happened. How do we react to that thing that happened? And COVID's happening. Like it's not done. We're still learning. We're still
It wasn't a
evolving.
one-day event.
It wasn't a one-day event, and I think that's what we're kind of evolving to this new normal, but we don't even know what that is or how long that new normal is going to be. So it's been interesting to say the least.
Yeah. So, I mean, I imagine, letting go of employees was probably very difficult. Can you talk more to why that happened? Because we were kind of, like I said, we were discussing this a little bit.
Yeah. So I won't go into like every detail.
Yeah.
But like, for our business specifically, it wasn't just a revenue hit. As we talked about, like we have risk and we have other things that affect our business in a way that like maybe a consumer business or other businesses aren't affected. So when business travel goes down, we take little hits on revenue, but also we take hits on risk. And there's a lot of factors that go into that are really difficult. And so as we looked at what we were going to have to do, we looked at, we did the 10 million things we could do prior to letting people go in terms of stopping contracts and getting rid of software, getting rid of snacks and whatever, right? Yeah. Whatever we could do to like cut costs, we were doing it. Because these people that work for Divvy, like me personally, I'll speak for me. I can't speak for the entirety of the business, right? But like, there's a lot of people I love personally. I know them. I know their families. I know their kids. They've been with us for a while. Some not as long, and some others. But for the most part, this was not a decision that was just like, oh yeah, put names on a board and let's go.
Right.
Let's get rid of these suckers. Like actual tears were shed multiple times prior to the actual event of doing it, which was probably one of the toughest days of my career. Because you're looking people in the eye and you're saying like, we did everything, and we're here. This is where we're at, and this really sucks. So there's a lot of things we're doing to help.
Did you feel that they trusted you when you said that you guys did everything?
For every single person, I promise you, there's people that got let go from Divvy that hate us, and that's just I would understand where they're coming from. But a lot of them, again, we try to do our best to have one-on-one meetings to look them in the eye and say, here's the decision and here's where we sit. And I do think a lot of people respected the decision or understood the decision. And again, we actually said our recruiter isn't, we're not recruiting right now. We're not hiring. So we put our entire HR team towards recruiting for them to go find another job. And I think right now we're at like 45% replacement, and we want to get to 100. Awesome. So like we're actively doing it. So
hold on, back up. You tasked your HR and recruiters to help
100%. To have 100%
the people that you let go find a job.
Yeah, 100% placement
Okay.
was our
I just
goal.
want to make, yeah, I want,
Yeah,
don't skip over that. That was, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
'cause
pretty
that's-
impressive. I don't
Yeah,
know
we
how many
didn't,
people have been doing
go
that.
public with it because again, we're not trying to win a PR.
Sure,
war.
sure.
Like we were just like these are people that gave us their all. It's not their fault at all. And you know the people that we let go. I mean, I'm like seeing their faces right now, and I'm like, it wasn't them. Had nothing to do with them. Like
Yeah.
COVID just put our business in a situation that was really unfortunate. So you know, will we rebound? Yeah, we'll rebound. Will we come out? You know. Doing things differently, yeah, we'll come out doing things differently, but that's still the experience we go through. And I was talking to my wife about it because, again, like the past 3 months, there have been real times of growth and emotion and struggle and hey, we're going to get out of it this way and whatnot. And I look back at it, I'm like, man, this sucks. I wish it never happened. But in 20 years, when I am talking to someone and I'm giving them wisdom, it will be because of the last 3 months. And I can say, I actually lived through this experience
Yeah.
in this role and had to do these things. And these are the 10 things that happened to us throughout the couple months when we were positive, when we were low, and that roller coaster's going up and down. And so for that, I'm grateful just because, again, it's you know, wisdom can be priceless. But it sucks that you have to go through crap to get wisdom.
Yeah. So what's next for Divvy? Like where,
Yeah,
right?
so-
We're trying to everybody's trying to get through this. Like, where do you guys see you going till the end of 2021? Assuming let's say we can get back to the office, like what's your guys' game plan to kind of move forward and tackle this?
What's actually kind of like ironic about the whole thing, again, like there's always a silver lining, you know, kind of, I posted this on LinkedIn. One of the biggest things I always look at as advice for myself is things are never as good as they seem. So when we raised, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever, it's never as good as people think it is, right? Like there's stuff that comes with that. And then on the opposite, it's never as bad as people think it is, right? And so when we're in the middle of COVID, some of the silver lining is, well, we're free and we're all about never going over budget. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of companies out there that resonates with, where when you talk to them and they're like, oh, well, okay, I didn't care about my budgets before, but now I care about my budgets and I can't go over budget. So for us, you know, we're still landing a lot of new customers and we're still growing, maybe not at the rate and the amount of people and all that stuff that we'd like, but it's actually still going very well in the sense of we have a product that resonates. The product is continuing to get better. And so we're going to continue, you know, we're going to continue to add stuff to our product suite, but that's really what we're going after.
Awesome. A new building.
New building comes
Hopefully end of
next
July.
month. Yeah.
We hope.
Hopefully. Yeah, we'll see.
Can we see any videos of anybody from the roof shooting onto that basketball hoop? Can you make that? Can you make that happen?
We'll invite Dude Perfect. We'll get
Yeah.
down to that.
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? I want your corporate card. Like, what the hell is it? Like, pitch me. I don't even know. Like your Divvy card. Now, the first experience I had with this, one of my best friends growing up, he has a kind of a startup that he's been doing called ShareTown, and took me to lunch, and he pulls out this card.
Divvy card.
Yeah, I'm like, what is that? And I knew who you were before that, but it was, dude. And then he just ranted and raved. I mean, it was just like, this is the best. Like, this has helped us so much, and this and that. But I just don't know.
Yeah. So the
What's
easiest
that?
way to
What's that
explain it
product?
is everyone has to spend for their company, right? You have money and you got to spend. You got to travel. You got to buy software. you got to do it. You got to throw pizza parties for your team. Whatever it is that you're doing. And most people either use a corporate card with a mix of personal card. The problem that happens there is there's a reactive nature of like, well, people have swiped their card. Well, shoot, how much money did we spend? Finance has no idea how much money's been spent until it's 30, 60 days late. With Divvy, we basically took Expensify and American Express and built one company and said every time a dollar goes out, you're going to know proactively why, against what budget, what was the reason, who did it, who approved it. And we created all this software that acts like Venmo for business so that you can never go over budget again. And we give it all away for free. So we're like saying Expensify should be free. We're going to make money like Amex. And that's the whole business model and why people come after it and use it is if I'm a startup, startups aren't Microsoft. They can't go like $10,000 over budget and it doesn't matter. Like every dollar counts. So if they set a budget for $500 for marketing that month, that's how much money they have to spend. And that's what makes Divvy super impactful is like an intern.
So does it stop you from spending $500, or is it just it'll block the transaction? But obviously, you got to be you're notified in real time or like every day, right? I mean,
real time.
Like even when you're like $250 into the $500 budget, it's like hey. It's
phone
it's only the
always-
4th of the month. I'm 250 in. Like, okay.
And it'll tell you, hey, you're in the red, you're in the yellow. Like it's going to give you an idea of where you stand with your budget. So it's always on your phone. It's always going to tell you how much money you have, and every time you swipe a card, it's going to pop up on your phone and say you spent this much. Here's how much you have left. And that's it, right? So otherwise, like if I'm an employee, let's say I'm a sales rep. In fact, my last company, I was a sales rep, and I was good. I mean, I was running a sales team, and we were growing, and it was like, well, just swipe. Well, can I go take this trip to New York, dude? And I'd look at the guys, I'm like, just come on, just swipe the card, let's go. If finance cares, they'll let us know. And I knew that they might care in 60 days, but I'll fight that battle later. So we'd swipe, and you start spending more and more. How much can I get away for dinner? How much can I get away for a flight? How much can I get away for XYZ? So you just kind of start swiping first and asking for forgiveness later. And Divvy is basically saying, no. Let's just have a conversation first. Finance is going to approve the budget for $10,000 for sales. And now the sales manager can allocate accordingly on his team. And it just gives visibility and transparency to places that in the past aren't given.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. I like it. I need a divvy.
You shouldn't have to use a personal card and like float money and try to get reimbursed. That whole thing is stupid.
It's tough. So
Unless,
like maybe
unless I want the points.
Yeah. Unless I want the points.
You can get it from us too. But.
Well, there you go. All right.
So maybe like a month or so ago, you posted on LinkedIn. You said, "Hey, any vendor that wants to talk to me, let's do it."
I did.
How did that go?
One of the smarter and dumber things I've done. So I'm about 140 so far scheduled.
You've seen. Okay.
So hold on.
done
Hold
about
on.
60.
Any vendor.
I basically said, look, I've been a sales rep. It sucks to be a sales rep when you're out there just trying to grind away. I will take a demo from any company, and I'll still do it. It still stands.
Yeah.
I will take a demo from any company as long as you're willing to like have your controller or a CFO take a demo from one of my guys. I will take it from one of your guys.
Yeah.
So it blew up on LinkedIn, and my EA hates me now because we've booked hundreds of these.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're about 140 in.
So you've done 140.
No, I have not. Sorry.
Okay,
I've
you've
booked
scheduled.
140.
Yeah.
I've done like 60-ish, I think. Right now. Yeah.
What's the majority of type of vendor that
I actually feel like
reached
VC
out?
should be calling me, because like I'm getting a sense of what's in the market and who's can be like. I can tell you a ton of HR. Like I've just been surprised how many HR platforms there are. A ton of sales platforms. A few on data and engineering, but again, I'm just getting a sense of like what's out there, who's got what, value props, what they're doing. So it's been pretty interesting, to be honest. Like I haven't gone as deep as I would like on a lot of these demos because I just don't have the time to do all of them as deep. But it's been pretty interesting to at least. I'm also doing a best practices on the calls. Because I'm going through so many of them so fast, I can say, here's a best practice. This person killed it on this. And other people suck. Like there's other sales reps where I'm like, wow. Like even if you had a good product, I'd not buy it because it's so bad. So I'm going to hopefully, spit that back out to LinkedIn and to my team and give trainings on like, hey, here's what I've seen.
When you posted that, did you think in your head like, I'm going to get like 80? Or did you have a number in mind, or were you
I
like
thought like 50 or less.
50 or less?
Honest. Yeah.
And you're like 160,
Somewhere
still
in there.
going.
Well, it's still going. It is
So
still
tons of HR platforms.
Yeah, a lot. I guess
There's
I just didn't
tons.
realize
There's
a
so
ton.
many HR platforms.
Yeah, which I'm sure they're all great, but I was just shocked. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
and they're all doing a slightly different thing, but there's a ton of overlap, which is why it's an interesting thing for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you're not that much different than that or that, but they have one little nuance or one different product feature, and that's what they're trying to go off on. So
Yeah, like 3 years ago, we attended HR Tech, which is an annual conference
yeah,
in Vegas, and it was ginormous. I mean, 10 times bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And that's when our name of our game, we have to integrate with HR platforms,
Yeah.
and that we've been trying to do that for years and years, but it's huge.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Good stuff, man. Okay, we're gonna switch gears.
Oh, we're doing what? Would you
We're
rather?
gonna jump into some would you rather's.
Is this editable? No, I'm just joking. Let's go.
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah. Well, so the rules.
You can retract
Exact
anything.
statement.
The rules of would you rather's you got to answer.
I will. No, I'll answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's got to be one or the other. So we have one question that we have asked every single person.
Okay.
Yep. And I always kick it off.
Yep.
So the first would you rather is, would you rather take a Tiger Woods driver to the shin? He's teeing off, it's first hole, adrenaline, right? Now it's his name. Driver to the shin, and, his normal swing. He's not swinging hard. It's just his normal club head speed. Or Barry Bonds home run swing to the middle of the back.
I mean, you'd be paralyzed in the back. Shin, I think you could replace. I'll go shin.
You're going shin.
It would shatter your shin.
Yeah, shatter.
It's like it's done.
Done.
Yep.
But like a Barry Bonds swing to the back.
No, you know what's coming, right? You're sitting there looking at Tiger Woods. He's swinging.
Actually,
Hey, Barry Bonds. Okay, go ahead, swing the bat, and you're ready.
No, stop. I'm decided. It's Tiger Woods. You'd shatter your leg. You just have to rehabilitate it, but you'd recover eventually with the leg. A back problem that never goes away would be you're done. I feel like if you have a back problem that you just can never recorrect, like you might maybe paralyzed. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with
shin. Okay, good.
That would hurt.
Okay.
That's the majority. I think that's the kind of majority of the answers.
Yeah.
The shin.
All right. Would you rather look young and feel old, or look old and feel young?
So personally, look old, feel young. Here's why. For some weird reason, my wife loves the gray coming in my beard and my hair. So she's like in on the older look. So I'm like, great, I'll take it. I'll look old, but feel young. Done.
Yeah, just for men.
I go the same way. It's coming in hot.
Yeah, it's coming in hot.
It's coming in
I actually
hot.
call Divvy like my Obama years because like the amount of gray I'm getting versus before. I mean, you remember Obama
Yeah.
and he just went from,
Dude, he went young looking
dark
to
hair,
just
like old.
yeah.
So that's how I feel.
20
So I'm
years.
gonna go look old but feel young.
Okay. Do you have like an idol, like a sports idol, or somebody that you just love?
So I'm a big Seahawks fan because I'm from Seattle.
Okay.
And I love Russell Wilson on the field.
Okay.
But I hate him off the field.
Okay. Russell Wilson on the
Interesting.
field.
I
Russell-
hate him off the field. I can't even hear him talk. But he's
This-
my favorite athlete.
This
to
has
watch.
got to be on the field then, because I think I would know the answer.
Okay.
So Russell Wilson on the field. Would you rather vomit on him or be vomited on him, or by him on you?
Oh no, I'd vomit on him.
You would vomit on him. Okay.
There's no glory in him vomiting on me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd vomit on him.
Would you
I'd
rather?
vomit on him when he was talking in a press
conference.
after the game.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it's got to be on
I
the
haven't
field,
paid
not-
attention
not on the
enough to
field.
him off the field. I got it.
He's
Now you say.
He's just Anyways,
Would you rather be a member of a cult or the leader of a cult?
this reminds me of. Have you guys seen The Office?
The Office, yeah, Creed.
Yeah, it's
This is the exact same.
like,
Yeah, like
You make more
Make
money,
more money
as
as
a
a leader.
but more fun as
more
a
fun as a
follower.
member. Yeah.
So I guess if I had to answer that, I'll go leader. I mean, if you're in for a penny, you go in for a pound, like go for it, right?
Love it. Love it. Would you rather get caught skinny dipping by your parents or catch your parents skinny dipping?
Oh, by my parents.
Okay. You and your wife.
I grew up at the pool, so that for sure is
You
happening.
Your parents have seen it. They're good. Would you rather never lose your phone again or never lose your wallet again?
I would rather lose my phone.
Phone.
Yeah.
I feel like I have so much information on my phone.
But it's all packed up.
Yeah, it's backed up.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Insurance.
But it's just.
So
yeah.
like now, for example,
I
you
guess
get a
they're
new
both.
MacBook and an iPhone, it's all kind of the same. And like within 20 minutes, I'm like up and running. I have
Yeah.
everything I ever need.
Everything's
And it's
good to
done.
go. That's a good point.
Whereas a wallet, I have to like at least call my bank to get a new card. I have to get a new license, and that means I have to go to the DMV. That's 100% phone.
100%.
And I get an automatic upgrade. I'm like, oh, well, I have to buy a new phone.
I have to call Divvy and cancel my. No.
you just be on your phone. You just on Divvy, you would just
You just say, "Hey, freeze! I
you would just
lost
press
it."
a toggle button and it would be done.
See another reason for Divvy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Would you rather never have painful period cramps again or never have to shave again? That one's not for you.
So I don't. Well, I was like, well, I mean, I obviously.
I had to think. Yeah, I just
Shave,
wanted
but-
you to think about it for like both of you guys. Both of you guys probably just like.
Well,
wait.
did
I
you,
did go- I don't
Wait a
shave
second.
Anymore, though. And if
I don't think
actually-
he has period cramps.
I don't have period cramps. But I
I
will.
just-
I will. If you want another sponsor for this, have you guys used the lawnmower product?
Lawnmower.
It's like built
The
for
Manscaped
Manscaped
lawnmower?
lawnmower.
I have not
I
used
just
it.
I know people will hear this, but I just want like that was my favorite product of last year.
The lawn.
And
It's
I
called.
used it-
It's called the lawnmower.
Lawnmower,
Yeah, yeah.
But like I use it to shave my face, like just trim because I have a like what do you call it, like a 5 o'clock shadow look, and it's waterproof. It doesn't have a cord, so like you can just keep it in the shower and shave really easily and quick. So just for like stuff like that,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Okay.
I've always wanted to buy it. It just seemed like My Amazon one for $19 is just versus 200 or whatever.
No, I think it was like
Was like
$80.
was it 80? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like $100. I'm like, I don't know,
what
dude.
the other options are, but before I was using like.
But it's worth it, you're saying?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's great.
Lawnmower.
That's good.
Okay. Would you rather get a really bad sunburn, bad, right?
I've had it.
Or, so you know the pain, or have an entire, just one eyebrow waxed off?
Like one time.
Yeah.
So
But you got to be in public, right? You're going into the office. There's no working from home. You're going in with only one eyebrow.
I'd probably just do the eyebrow.
Eyebrow.
So I went to Costa Rica and got burnt. And I this is a true story. I woke up the night before we were supposed to go on the plane. Been there for like 9 days. Last day, I was like, oh, I'm good now. I don't need sunscreen. The last day, 'cause I'm an idiot. And I didn't put on sunscreen. I woke up that night, and you can ask my wife. I mean, I was in full-on like adult man tears. It hurt so bad. I felt like someone was like crawling through my skin. I couldn't sleep the whole night. And I'm like pouring water on myself on the car ride. I'm like, guys, it was so bad. I went to the airport. I boarded a plane without my shirt on
Did you?
because it was so fried. Yeah, I was like, I can't.
Nothing touching your
How
skin.
long ago was
I ended
this?
Up, it was like 9-10 years ago. But,
Okay.
I took Benadryl. That's what solved it. I'd used
Oh.
all this stuff. Nothing was working, but it was like an allergic reaction to the sunburn. It was
Yes.
Benadryl, and that's what calmed me down. But it was brutal.
Shirtless Alex on the plane.
Yeah, I'm really glad there's not footage of that. That would
Yeah.
have come back to haunt me.
Would you rather have comically big hands or comically big feet?
I feel like I have both, so I'll just pick one. Like feet.
Feet, just
Yeah.
clown shoes, just stomping around.
What's comically big?
Like,
Like Shaq?
Comically
yeah.
big
Well, I mean,
is
for
like,
your body,
okay,
like it's like
you have Shaq hands and you're 6 feet tall.
Okay.
yeah. Or you got like clown
I'll go
shoes.
feet.
Feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feet.
Why not?
I don't know. I think, dude, if you'd have be walking around with weird shoes all the time, but at least with hands, you could be like palming basketballs and doing fun tricks or like figuring it out.
Feet, you could like hide it to some degree. Like
Yeah.
hands is just like right here in front of
Yeah,
you.
that's
Like
true.
you constantly look at your hands like these things are ridiculous.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Who's the motivation?
Size 22 feet though.
Yeah. You got to
That's-
special order
that's-
all of your
that's
shoes.
Fair amount. That's pretty big.
Didn't the motivational Tony Robbins? Didn't he have like gigantic hands? You guys ever remember?
He
seeing
did.
him?
I think he did. I think he
He's
does
like
have
a big-
gigantic hands.
Yeah. Okay. Would you rather wear the same pair of socks for a month or the same pair of underwear for a week?
I'll go socks.
So I would go socks. I feel like undies would be good a little.
I've done the week undies. It's not that bad.
Just because, not that bad.
Well, you know, I go on a fishing trip or something, right? And like you do take extra set of clothes, but it's like such a like afterthought of you eat, sleep, and fish.
It's an
It's like, dude, it's like I don't even care. I don't even like change your clothes. You just don't change your clothes.
Don't change your clothes.
Yeah, it's an easy one. Socks.
Would you rather box a kangaroo once or join a fight club for a year?
I'd go Fight Club.
Fight club.
Yeah.
Brad
not
Pitt.
Not that I'm like buff or would win, but like at least you'd
Alex
have a
Pitt.
story.
But how do you know if there's a Fight Club?
Well,
Well, it's
you
the
don't
first rule
because
of
you don't
Fight
know
Club.
you're the first rule of Fight Club.
Someone would tell you there's a Fight Club. They would
All right.
break the rule and tell you there's a Fight Club.
Is the video? Can you video the kangaroo?
Yeah, video everything.
But you can work. Okay.
Wait, so you're
Whatever.
saying box a kangaroo once?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Oh, maybe that. I mean, one time.
yeah, one time kangaroo on video.
One. Yeah, sure.
No,
I mean,
probably.
whatever.
Do I have to go to the hospital if I lose? Because don't.
Well, I don't know. Those things might kick you,
I
dude.
mean,
It
yeah,
might
they have
be
claws. I don't know. Yeah.
I'd go kangaroo then, just one time.
One
Yeah,
time.
dude, if you knocked a kangaroo out on video, that'd actually be pretty cool.
you would have PETA after you.
Yeah, but PETA, I mean, who cares? Like, they don't care about Brent.
That's basically
I mean, it would be like a week. You just get, it'd be tough for a week.
Yeah. Would you rather be buried alive or cremated alive?
Oh, wow.
Oh,
That was a
jeez.
tough one, actually.
Hold on.
Buried alive would be long. I think
Yeah,
you'd
cremated.
be dead within.
But the pain, but it would be like
You would like you
the,
could feel
the
that.
intense
That would be tough.
pain,
yeah, but your body.
but for like 10, 15 seconds, intense pain until you pass out.
Within 30 seconds, you passed out.
But you're suffocating for
Yeah, no, I'm aware.
hours, right?
Yeah, you're suffocating for. If you're buried alive, I think you're there for a decent amount of time.
Cremation. I think.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
It's hot. Yeah. Okay. Would you rather have the neck of a giraffe or the hands of a baby?
Oh, Dude, hands of a baby.
Nice and soft. They would be super small.
Hold on. You're talking like my hands this
Like
big?
every time you take a drink, man, you're double.
But a neck of a giraffe, like,
Is
am I
there-
like a professional basketball player? Do I get any benefit for having long?
Can I do surgery and like
No,
get big
it's just
hands?
one or the other. No, you got hands of a baby or neck of a giraffe.
Hands of a baby. Yeah.
No. I think a neck.
Dude,
of a giraffe.
your neck is 7 feet tall. Dude, there's no way. You can hide the hands.
That's a bit much. 7 feet tall. If it was like 3 feet tall, I think I'd commit to the neck. But maybe 7 is a little too much.
I mean, yeah, dude, giraffe neck. That's a good one, Reader.
Okay.
That's tough.
All right. Have you ever seen Arrested Development?
I have, yeah.
You know the Never Nudes.
Yeah.
Would you rather wear a diaper under your clothes at all times or wear jean cutoffs under your clothes at all times?
I mean,
Diaper.
right? Just in case. No,
Just in
I
case?
Gene cutoffs. Like, by the way, that is one of the best subplots of Arrested Development.
Never Nudes. Okay. Last one. You love your wife.
I do, yeah.
Very supportive.
But you're okay. You just go with the
Would you rather forget your wife's birthday every year or forget your anniversary every year?
Oh, I mean, that's a lock. I forget my anniversary like every other year. So.
You do. So it's just
Yeah,
that
so
happens.
that's
It's
the answer.
done.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the answer.
Done and done.
Done
All
and
right.
done.
I think I'd have to go anniversary too. My wife celebrates her birthday for like a month.
My wife did not for a month, but like I know it's her birthday.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a thing. But anniversary, like to us, is like it's not as important to us collectively.
Yeah.
Is one more important for you guys?
Well, my philosophy on it is she does so many damn things throughout the year that like every weekend's a birthday. It's like, I mean, you kind of buy whatever you want. In all reality, like every week. I mean, if you see something, it's within reason, you buy it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so your birthday, what do we need to do on your birthday that's different than what you've done all year long? And
Make
lu-
it
luckily,
nothing.
she agrees. Like, birthdays are not a big thing. Anniversaries are probably a little bigger because we actually tend to travel somewhere.
Yeah, we're the opposite. Birthdays are bigger.
Yeah,
Anniversaries are smaller.
we're just not
Yeah.
birthdays. Birthdays are every weekend. It's like Father's Day is like, dude, Father's Day is like every day.
Megan said to me, "You're not my father." So we don't really celebrate.
Yeah,
Father's Day.
that's good.
I was like, "Great, you're not my mother." Noted.
Done. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Hopefully
give
that
and
goes
take.
both ways, right? Awesome. Alex Bean, Divvy, CBO.
CBO, yeah.
Not
CBO.
CO, sorry. Okay. Awesome. Everybody get that Divvy card. Thanks, man.
Hey,
Divvy
thanks,
card.
guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
it.
And cut.
I gotta run to do one.